Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news, reviews, and playthroughs. I'm Peter, and today we're doing something very special. We are unboxing some new Marvel Champions. We are unboxing Rogue and Gambit, which just came out yesterday, so December 24th, I think it is. But we are doing this live on our streaming channel, so please feel free to chat in if you have any questions, comments, suggestions. I apologize if the camera gets a little bit shaky at times. I don't have it set up exactly the way I want for my live recordings yet, but hopefully soon I will get that. So if there are any suggestions for who you want to see first, let me know. Although I guess without further delay, I guess I'm going to start unboxing. So I think I'm going to go with Gambit first, unless there's any anybody who, objects to that. But that's the one I am more excited for. So let's go ahead and get unboxing Gambit. All right. So we have the standard insert inside. Let's see. Obviously beautiful artwork. You probably see it better up in the camera up at the top here than you would down here. But do they always do the same picture? They do. That is on the front of the box. So interesting. Are there any new keywords? We got team up. We got villainous, which we know. But oh, that must be his nemesis has villainous, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. All right. So we got some flavor text here. Raised in the seedy underworld of New Orleans as part of the Thieves Guild, Remy LeBeau left behind a life of crime to join the X-Men. Now he uses his mutant power to charge items with explosive energy while fighting evil as the hero Gambit. So pretty cool backstory. I've never noticed that before. I wonder if they've always done that. They probably have, and I've just never noticed. All right, so let's get going. I know this will make some of you cringe that I am using a knife to cut things open, but that's the way it is. And I'm sorry if the picture's a little bit blurry. I don't know how to fix that. Like, it's got beautiful quality when I am not streaming it, but when I'm streaming it, it seems like the quality goes down. So I'm going to have to do some research into how to fix that. So we got Remy LeBeau. He is 3 recovery, a mutant thief. Thief extraordinaire, action thwart. Oh, thwarting on his alter ego side. That's pretty cool. Exhaust Remy LeBeau and look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Discard one of these cards. Remove threat from the scheme equal to the boost icons of this card. Holy moly. So this does like several things here. Number 1, obviously it removes threat. But number 2, it lets you remove a card or discard one of those cards. So it lets you discard a card so you can get past Shadows of the Past or whatever else. You also will know what boost icons are coming for the enemy turn. So that's pretty cool. 3 recovery. 9 life and 6 hand size. All right, so let's look on his Gambit side. We got a thief for the X-Men. Let's see if I put it down, if I can get better quality. Maybe I'll even have to zoom in a little bit. So charge the card is an action. All right, so he's a 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. So very defensive hero. Again, 9 hit points, 5 hand size over here. Let's see. Maybe if I zoom in a little, we can... I'm working on this. Work in progress, everybody. Sorry if it is not as perfect as I would like it to be. Like I said, the quality's great streaming from my phone. There's something lost in translation between my phone and where it's streaming to. So I may have to figure out a hardwired solution where I get a camera or something else. Because actually, my camera is doing great. It's just this this phone setting situation that's messed up. So yeah, for next stream, I'll get it fixed. I may just use one of my HD cameras and connect it hardwired through everything. That might be the way we'll have to go. But for now, we're just going to keep charging on. Just like he gets to charge a card. For an action, place a charge counter here. Limit once per round. And throw the card, interrupt. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here That event deals +1 damage for each counter. So you could do an action to place a counter here, and then when you do an attack event, you can add those counters. That's pretty stinking neat. All right, it seems good for those attack events that hit multiple things. So I'm curious if he's going to have attack events that not just hit one thing, but hit multiple things, and then those plus damage is going to do damage to everybody, which would be very cool. All right, so we got Rogue as an ally. 4-cost ally to thwart 2 attack, 3 life. Reduce the cost to play Rogue by 1 for each charge counter on your identity, and she's also tough. Holy moly. So after 4 turns, you get to play her for free as long as you're not using those charge counters to attack other stuff. That is very cool. Another signature card here. We've got a support. 1-cost support, Thieves Guild, alter ego action. So this is good. I like cards that make you want to stay alter ego. And again, Gambit has a reason to go alter ego because he can thwart from that side as well as like clear out things and give you foresight into what cards are coming next. So, alter ego action, after you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire ability, exhaust the Thieves Guild to remove 1 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, you get to draw a card. And just as a reminder for myself, can that be any scheme or does it have to be the main scheme? Discard one of these cards, remove threat from a scheme. So you get to remove from your Thief Extraordinaire ability, then you get to remove 1 more. If it's the last threat that you're removing, then you get to draw a card as well. All right, Gambit Staff, Hero Interrupt. When an enemy attacks, exhaust the staff to deal 1 damage to that enemy. So it looks like he's going to be protection, aggression, because he's got that 3 defense stat, and the ability to boost up his attacks. Plus, this will let you deal 1 damage as you're getting attacked. It's kind of like a retaliate. You do have to exhaust the staff though, so it's 1 time, but you could do that in addition to retaliate. So, and it gets a card out of your deck. It's an upgrade. All right, another 1-cost upgrade, Gambit's Guild Armor. After Gambit defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust the Guild Armor to ready Gambit. Oh, sweet. So you get to defend, attack. He's also got some things for threat removal in his alter ego side. Pretty cool. So event, charge a card, attack. It's an attack superpower, hero action, attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy for this attack. If Gambit's throw the card ability... If Gambit's throw the card ability removed at least 1 counter, this attack gains ranged. 2 counters, this attack also gains piercing. 3 counters, it gains overkill. So not only are you boosting this, so again, you have 4 damage at +1 if you remove 1 counter, which makes it ranged, immune to retaliate, and range means immune to retaliate, you get a 5th damage. If you remove 2 counters, you're going to get 6 damage, you're going to get that range, and you get piercing to get rid of tough. If you remove a 3rd one, you also get overkill, which will help you get rid of minions as well as damaging the boss. So that's kind of cool. That could be 7 damage with ranged, piercing, and overkill. If you build it up, we got a 2nd one of these, and actually we've got a 3rd one of these. So 3 charge card over here. Oops. Then we have a Royal Flush. All right, I like these poker themes. We got 2 of these. So let's see what they say. There we go. Royal Flush. It's a hero action attack. It's also superpower, which was the charge card was too. So you can use some things to reduce the cost of superpowers. In fact, his next one is as well, although his next one is 0 cost, so it doesn't really matter. Hero action attack. Place 1 charge counter on Gambit. Deal 0 damage to an enemy. Deal 0 damage to an enemy. Deal 0 damage to an enemy. But you're placing a charge counter on there. You can spend up to 3, so he could do up to 3 damage on 3 different enemies. Or it could be a super expensive way to place a charge counter, paying 3 cost just to do it as a charge counter. But it doesn't say different enemy, so you could do them all to the same enemy or different enemies. Oh, and the quality's gone down again. What is going on, camera? All right, whatever. Next one, Natural Agility. There's 2 of these in the deck. See, I'm looking at it through my phone over here, and the quality is excellent. I don't know why that in transition it's not coming through as well. So I do apologize for that quality. All right, let's talk about natural agility. It's a defense superpower, 0 cost. Hero interrupt defense. When you defend against an attack, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense for that attack. So it seems like Gambit's going to want to build up these charge counters, put out his ally for free, do a bunch of stuff, and then really unload with this like royal flushes and charge cards. It's kind of a fun mechanic. It's almost encouraging you to build up. So again, there's 2 of those natural agilities. We got 2 of the next card as well, which is Creole Charmer. So this is thwarting event. So it's an alter ego action. Thwart. Oh, alter ego again. Thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from the scheme, confuse the villain. Oh, I really like this. So Gambit on one side is attacking and defending. On the other side is thwarting. On that alter ego side. This is really fun. So again, remove 3 threat. If it removes the last threat, confuse the villain. So you can be on your alter ego side. They'll be confused. And it's only 2 cost. Wow. That's kind of neat. All right, so we got 2 double resources here, but I don't know that I've ever seen this, except I guess on the Shawarma, where they had different resources on it, but this is 2 different types of resources, which is kind of neat. Molecular Acceleration. It's a resource card. Hero Interrupt. When you spend this card, place a charge counter on Gambit. So you not only get 2 resources, but you also get a charge counter. So, yeah. So that concludes his signature set. Let's talk about what he comes with, which are Justice cards. Yay, Justice. Although I wouldn't have pictured that. I would have pictured him more protection or aggression, to be honest. But, all right, so we got Bishop. It's a 3 cost to thwart 0 attack. The attack has 2 consequential damage, but there's a star ability there. So response, after an enemy attacks you, place an energy counter here. That's you being the royal you, I assume. So Gambit or anybody. So you can just leave Bishop in front of you for a while. Let him charge up. When Bishop attacks, remove each energy counter from him. Each counter discarded this way, he gets +2 attack for the attack to a maximum of +6. So you can remove up to 3 counters to get a maximum of +6 to his attack. Now that will do 2 consequential damage, but it is a hero, or I'm sorry, an ally that they want you to put in front of you and build up a little bit. It's kind of interesting. We have a 4-cost Dazzler here. Response, after Dazzler enters play, confuse an enemy. Never bad. So it's almost like a confuse version of... why can't I think of her name right now? I just played with her last night. There's a basic card. I don't know why I can't think of her name. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. They're yelling at their screen right now. So please, somebody help me out. There's a bunch of you out there. Type it in the chat. After Dazzler enters play, confuse an enemy. But she's a 2/2 with 3 life for 4 cost. Mockingbird. That's who it was. Thank you. Yes, Mockingbird. Yeah, Mockingbird stuns, but Dazzler confuses. Dazzler costs 1 more, but I do think Confuse is better. Plus, has a much better stat line with 2/2 than the 1/1 stat line for Mockingbird. All right, we have an upgrade, a Justice upgrade, operative skill. Uses 3 operative counters. So you put the counters on. Max 1 per player. Interrupt. When you thwart, remove 1 operative counter from here. That thwart removes 1 additional threat. Yes, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mary. Greg, thanks for the Mockingbird. By the way, Mary says, Rocket's salvage resource cards have different resources, don't they? That might be true. Good call, Mary. All right, but so when you thwart, remove an operative counter from here. That thwart removes 1 additional threat. And it's not hero, it's any side. So for Gambit specifically, there are 3 of those operative skills in the deck. We got Stealth Strike. We've got 3 of these. I feel like I've heard this one before. Let me see if the ability sounds familiar to me. Stealth Strike is an attack, a hero action attack. 4 damage to the enemy. If that enemy is defeated by this attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Sounds familiar, but I like the Wolverine artwork. I feel like that was like a base game card, and now you get the Wolverine artwork on it, which, you know, is very cool. So you got breaking and entering. This sounds very specific. There's 3 of these in the deck. I'm just going to put 1, so hopefully it doesn't mess up the video even more. Yeah, again, sorry for the quality. I guess, as I zoomed up, it seemed to do a good job. So maybe I'll do that for the rest of the cards. Breaking and entering. Play only if your identity is a spy, so this will help Black Widow. I am sad that I played Black Widow just this last night. Or thief trait. Action, thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. So 2 cost, 3 thwart event. Very cool. Now it says, action, but here's the key. Spy. That means Black Widow can now remove threat from her alter ego side. Yeah, if you're a spy or a thief. It does not say hero action. So again, they're letting Justice do some things from their alter ego side now, which is kind of neat. So we have Passion for Justice over here. Actually, let's show the whole card. We get 2 of these. It is a wild resource. Passion for Justice. Max 2 per deck. Interrupt. When you spend this card to play a thwart event, that event removes 1 additional threat. Mary says Stealth Strike is a reprint. So now, but I do believe it's new art with the Wolverine artwork on it. So we got that going for us. So when you spend it to play a thwart event, that event removes 1 additional threat. Pretty cool. We got Professor X. He's definitely been around before. 3 thwart, 0 attack, 3 life. He can confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character. You got to get rid of him at the end of the round. You got X Mansion. We've seen this one before. This is an alter ego action. Exhaust X Mansion to heal 1 from a mutant or X-Men character. Any player who's in alter ego and has the mutant trait may trigger this ability. So it's kind of like a crew quarters that anybody who's on alter ego can use. Now it does have that star there at the top of it, which means there's limit 1 in play at a time. Mary confirms, yes, it is new art on Stealth Strike. All right, Beauty and the Thief. I just love this. I love this concept, I guess, or the naming of this card. Beauty and the Thief, pretty cool. It is a 2-cost event. It's a basic event. Team up Gambit and Rogue, max 1 per deck. It's a hero action, attack thwart, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and remove 4 threat from a scheme. Now, a lot of these team-up cards are very expensive or hard to play. This one seems pretty cheap for the effect you get. 4 damage to an enemy and 4 threat, which is good because these cards are harder to play because you have to have both Gambit and Rogue in play at the same time to play it. So I like the fact that it is very overpowered for what you get. You're limited to 1 per deck anyway, and so I think they did a better job with this one than I've seen with some of the team-up cards in the past. Hit and Run, you're going to get 3 of these. This is a basic card. Let's go ahead and look at it, and then I'll zoom in again. So it's a 3-cost event. It's an attack thwart. So both, again, there's a lot of like dual cards in this. Hero action, attack thwart, deal 2 damage to an enemy, and remove 2 threat from a scheme. So similar to what the Beauty and the Thief did, except way worse for more expensive, but you don't have to have specific characters in play. These basic cards are supposed to be more expensive, so I'm glad they did that. You get 3 of these cards called Mutant Education in there. Let's go ahead and put this down, see what it is. Mutant Education is a 0-cost event. Play only if your identity has the mutant trait. There is an alter ego action. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards from your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. If X Mansion is play, you also get to draw a card. So they are working with this alter ego side for mutants, which I like. That it was a theme that started with the other cards, and this is an event that you can play on your alter ego side. You get to put some of your signature cards back in the deck, and if you have X Mansion also, you get to draw a card. That is super fun, and a welcome event card for any mutant deck. All right, so you've got the 3 new strength, genius, and energy. I'm sure nobody has seen those before. I will do a extensive breakdown after the stream. No, I will not. So you got Gambit's obligation over here. So it's called Guild Business. He has to go away on Guild Business. Give to the Remy LeBeau player alter ego action. Exhaust Remy LeBeau and spend a energy resource to remove it from the game. Otherwise, you'll be drawing a card every turn. Well, maybe not you. Maybe that's a gift you can give to everybody else. So we got Belladonna here as his nemesis minion. It is an assassin elite, 2 scheme, 3 attack, quick strike, toughness, force response. After Belladonna attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat on the main scheme. Wow. Holy moly. Quick strike, tough, 5 life, and when she defeats a character, place 2 threat on the main scheme. So not only is she killing your allies, so I do like the ally hate. We've been talking about this in our post-stream discussions lately. I do like having ally hate for some of these weaker allies. It kind of gives you a reason to not just build allies heavy decks. Assassin's Guild. Oh, Wasteland says mutant education is great. It's like it's like Wasp's AE ability, but available for every mutant. Yes. No, it's very cool. By the way, I don't know why, but like YouTube has this little heart thing now that shows up over the chat. I mean, I like the fact that you can give love very easily, but boy, is it annoying when I'm trying to read the chat. I wish they'd picked a better spot for it. Hopefully they will move it maybe down where the super chat is at the bottom there. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this issue, but yeah, it's really annoying because I want to read the chat, but it's like in the way. Come on, YouTube, be better. All right, Assassin's Guild here. Man, quality is just like not at all like it is beautiful in my phone. I could see it perfectly clearly, and then you put it in when it streams over, it like, I don't know if my computer's messing stuff up or if my YouTube settings need to be changed. I'm definitely going to work on that though, and I apologize for the shaky camera. I do need to get a better tripod for this. So Assassin's Guild has sworn to kill Gambit. I don't know why I'm reading flavor text this time. All right, it's a 4 threat scheme. Force response. After an assassin minion attacks and defeats a character, place 2 threat here. So not only will Belladonna, being an assassin herself, put 2 threat on the main scheme if she defeats a character, but then the Assassin's Guild is going to put threat on this scheme to make it harder to get rid of. Plus it's got an acceleration icon. We got more Guild Assassins here, or Guild Assassins are the rest of her Nemesis set, it looks like. I see one more. Oh no, there's 2 of these. 1/2s, quick strike, 2 life, force response. After Guild Assassin attacks and defeats a character, place a threat on the main scheme. And there are 2 of those. So, very similar to Belladonna, just not as strong, although 2 attack, ain't nothing to sneeze at, and you're going to have that other, if you don't take care of Assassin's Guild, that's going to be boosting itself as well. So the last one is Assassination Attempt Treachery. Reveal. Each assassin minion attacks you, even if you are in alter ego form. If there are no assassin minions in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for an assassin minion and reveal it. I was about to say, because there's 3 in this set, but I don't think there's a lot of assassins otherwise. So yeah, this is a good way to bring assassins back in play. All right, so let's see the other cards. Now this looks like one I might have, sounds familiar, but I'm probably wrong. Let me read what the text says. So you get 3 war rooms, which is an aggression thing. Mattis NL, thank you for all the love or down there, or the wide eyes or whatever else. Yes, I see where it's coming from. It still annoys me that it is there. Get better, YouTube. All right, War Room, max 1 per player. After an ally attacks and defeats a minion, exhaust War Room to remove a threat from a scheme. So it's actually kind of the opposite of the Nemesis set. I have not seen this card before, but it's max 1 per player. Your allies defeating stuff. So this would work well with any of those like Voltron decks where you're beefing up your allies. Pretty cool. Now, I don't remember, I'm sure that this has happened before, but I don't remember like 3 ofs for neutral cards or basic cards. That's interesting. So it's a 0 cost X-Men instructor. Play only if your identity has the mutant trait. Alter ego action, choose up to 2 X-Men allies in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. If X-Mansion is in play, draw a card. They are really encouraging you to put X-Mansion in play, which I kind of like. I love how these cards are building on each other. They haven't really done that before, and I'm really happy with the way they're doing it. Oh, we've got a whatchamacallit, a modular set in here. So it's a 6-card modular set, starting with Exodus, and that is the name of the modular as well. So 1 attack, 1 scheme, 6 health, Acolyte, Elite, Psionic, Retaliate 1, Villainous. Oh my goodness. Lots of stuff on this card. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Psionic Shield attachment and attach it to Exodus. Well, let's see if I can find... There are 2 versions of Psionic Shield, so I'll skip card 2 for now, and I will show these cards, because you're going to attach one of them to Exodus when they come into play. So what is this Psionic Shield? It is +1 attack, +1 scheme, attached to a minion. Otherwise, Psionic Shield gains Surge, Force Interrupt. When attached minion would leave play, instead heal all damage from that minion and put it back into play, then discard this attachment. Whoa. Alright, so a 6-life minion that is villainous that you have to kill twice. And it can't even be like you could do 12 damage with 1 attack. It's got to be 2 separate instances of defeating. We got the Herald of Avalon. When defeated, so it gives you an extra crisis card. The player who or an event card. I don't know why I called it a crisis card. I don't know what I'm doing. So when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Exodus and reveals him. Oh, lovely. So you could either get +1 card a turn or deal with that 12 health, 2 attack, 2 scheme, and yes, they will have 2 attack and 2 scheme because of the Psionic Shield. 12 life character. Wonderful. Awesome. You got 2 of these Acolyte Frenzies over here. Matthias NL says, sending as much love as I possibly can. Thank you, YouTube. Great. So Acolyte Frenzy says, when revealed, each Acolyte minion engaged with you activates against you. If you are not engaged with an Acolyte minion, this card gains Surge. All right, I was afraid he was going to say, go find an Acolyte, which means another chance to pull in Exodus, but not that. Also, when it's a boost, you are stunned and confused as a boost. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, that does it for the Gambit pack. So what are my thoughts on Gambit so far? I think it's really neat. I love the fact that they are working with alter egos, doing more with alter egos. I also loved all the cards that they've added that boost up X-Mansion. So you play them when you have X-Mansion, you get to draw a card. I like the fact that they put in a card for spy characters, because Black Widow being one of my favorites, it's a card that lets me thwart when I am on alter ego side. Nothing wrong with that. It's the first time we've really seen it. I guess that's not true. She-Hulk kind of does it. There are heroes that have allies that let you do it, but this is the first like event card that I've seen, or that I can remember anyway, that lets you do thwarting when you're on the alter ego side. So pretty fun deck for me. I am super excited to try him. He seems fun. On this side, he's going to be doing his scheming and even can confuse from this side. And on this side, Gambit will be charging up every turn. So he seems like a hero that's going to want to flip every turn, so that he gets his charge up every turn. And when he's charged up, it'll power some of his cards. But also, it'll just add 1 damage for each counter you remove to do extra damage on your attack events as well, to a limit of 3, of course. Yeah, so I mean, he seems super fun. I love when they encourage you to flip from your hero side to your alter ego side, and letting you thwart and do things from alter ego means it's even more of a possibility of staying in alter ego. I know that's something we've talked about experimenting with, is just staying in alter ego all game. I certainly feel like with all the changes, or with Gambit, the way he is with his Justice cards working from Alter Ego side, you still also have that other card, that preparation card that lets you ignore adding threat to a scheme. So there's definitely more ways to stay down and not have to flip up, which makes me super happy. All right, so that is it for Gambit. Let me know what you think either in the comments, either in this video right now or in the final comments. All right, I'm way zoomed in, so we're just going to look at Rogue like this. This is her pack. I guess I could turn it sideways so we can see the whole thing. There's the Rogue pack, and let's see what is inside. So we've got the instructions, as always, with the picture of Rogue. So Rogue is cursed with an uncontrollable ability that causes her to absorb the powers and memories of anyone she touches. Anna Marie ran away from her home as a teenager. Professor X offered her a place in his school where she could learn to control her power. Now she fights for justice as a member of the X-Men Rogue. All right, so any new... wow, so keywords villainous again, so we'll see more of that. Teamwork trait. Rules clarification. What does it mean to find touched? All right, so we'll find out what that means in a minute, or see cards with touched on it. When you're instructed to find a card, search the entire game area where that card could be found. The play area, set aside area, player deck and discard pile, encounter pile, etc. Frequently asked questions. If I control a minion with Karma's ability, what happens to any attachments on that minion? When you take control of a minion with Karma's ability, any attachments on that minion remain attached. However, because the minion loses the minion card type, gains the ally card type, any abilities, those attachments that affect the attached minion no longer apply. So I'm assuming, like, if there are stat boosts, things like that, what this means is it sounds like you're going to be able to gain control of enemies. They've had this in the past. So it sounds like what that means is you get to keep, like, if there's an attachment that gives them stat boosts, you would get to keep those stat boosts, but you're not going to get to keep the anything else associated with that. So if it's like this minion gains overkill or whatever, you don't get those benefits, but you are going to get the benefits of whatever stat boost because it doesn't specify minion there. Alrighty, well, let's talk about Rogue baby. So Anna Marie, I really like the artwork on these cards. Actually, it seems like a different art style. Maybe it's just more zoomed in than it's been, or maybe I'm just looking at Gambit. Yeah, I really like the art style here. I don't know if it's a different artist or what, but it seems bright. It feels warm. I mean, that just might be her theme or whatever, but I like it. So 11 hit points, 5 hand size, 3 recovery on this side. She is a mutant setup. Set your touched upgrade aside. We will talk about that in a minute. She has a touched upgrade. Force response. After you change to this form, set touched aside. Okay, so we will find out what touched means in a minute. But oh, that sounds like the thing that took control of somebody. We'll see. All right, so Rogue is a 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense X-Men, skin contact action. Attached touched to another character, you gain each of the attached character's traits until the end of the round. Limit once per round. Force response. After the player phase begins, find touched and set it aside. So every round you can add touched to a different character. I assume that means allies, whatever else. It could be allies, enemies, and you just gain their traits, which seems kind of cool. So let's see the touch card condition. If touched is attached to a minion, Rogue attacks gain overkill. If it's attached to the villain, Rogue gains retaliate 1. If it's attached to an ally, Rogue gains aerial trait. And if it's attached to a hero, Rogue gains stalwart, which again means you can't be stunned or confused. So you could touch heroes, you could touch allies, you could touch villains and minions, And you not only get their traits, but depending on which type of enemy or which type of character you attach it to, you're going to get different bonuses in addition to that. Wasteland Sniper says, Karma is awesome. I used her in a game a couple of days ago to mess with a werewolf minion from the horror set in Mojo Madness. Oh, yeah, you could mess with, I guess, the dragon as well. That'd be kind of cool. From the adventure set from Mojo Madness. All right, so we've got Gambit. Gambit? Not Gambit. Gambit. It is a 3. He is a 3-cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack ally. X-Men ally, 3 health. Gambit enters play with 3 charge counters on him. When Gambit attacks, remove a charge counter from him. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. So it's almost like Gambit has 3 attack, but even better because you could split the damage. You could do 2 to 1, 1 to the other. That interrupt is not an attack, so you can even do it to things that say they can't be attacked or with retaliate and not worry about getting retaliated on. You got Rogue's Jacket. While touched is attached to a friendly character, Rogue gets +1 thwart. While touched is attached to an enemy character, Rogue gets +1 attack. And remember, if it's attached to a minion, she gets overkill, +1 attack. Seems pretty good to her 222 stat line. We've got Going Rogue. There are 1, 2, 3 Going Rogues. So we will just talk about the first one, obviously, because they are all the same. Superpower thwart. Oh, I do like that they're adding more superpowers. And actually, her next one's going to be a superpower too. So it seems like they're maybe making a concerted effort to add more superpowers into the game. It's a hero action thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. If Rogue has aerial, remove 2 additional threat. Remember, she can get aerial with that touched card by attaching it to, I think, an ally. Yes, so you can gain aerial by attaching to an ally. Retaliate to confuse an enemy. Wait, I'm sorry. Let's start all over. Hero action thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. If Rogue has aerial, she gets to remove 2 additional threat. If she has retaliate, she gets to confuse an enemy. If she has stalwart, she gets to draw a card. So 3 threat removal for 2 isn't bad, but depending on basically who touched is attached to, she's going to get a different benefit from here too. So something else to consider when putting that touched on somebody, not just gaining their traits, but also figuring out like what other bonuses you get. All right, you got Southern Cross, which looks like a punch to the face. There are 3 of these in your deck. Hero action, deals 6 damage to an enemy. If Rogue has aerial, the attack deals 2 additional damage, so that'd be 8. And there are 3 of these in the deck as a reminder. We just talked about that last night. Retaliate, you get to stun the enemy, or Stalwart, you get to draw a card. So again, depending on where you put touched, you're going to get different benefits. You've got energy transfer over here, trying to read, move cards, do a lot of things at once. 2-cost event. It is a superpower again. Hero action. Attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. You gain each of the attached character's traits until the end of the round. Well, you do that anyway because you touch them, but I'm wondering, force response. After player phase begins, find that, okay, you gain traits until the end of the round. Oh, so you can gain traits from Rogue. Putting it on originally, you could gain more traits from the energy transfer. Interesting. Huh. So you could get multiple traits by using energy transfer on your turn. Wasteland says we need an X-Men art version of Def Focus. Yes, well, yeah, with all these superpower cards, absolutely. Seems like that should be coming. We got 2 of these. What are they? Bulletproof Bell over here. Defense, another superpower. Hero Interrupt. When an enemy with touched attached to it attacks, prevent all that damage from the attack and gain the tough status card. So you not only get to, so this is almost like all webbed up where you get to like web them and then stun them. This is avoid all damage and get tough. So it's almost as good, although with tough there is piercing that can get rid of it. So it's better in some ways, worse in other ways. Her last 3 signature cards are all the same. They're a 0-cost event called Superpower Adaptation. So again, she's all about touching characters, getting their superpowers. As a hero action, if touch is attached to a friendly character, search the owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as that character, identity, specific, aspect, or basic, and add that event to your hand. So hold on. If touch is attached to a friendly character, search its owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as that character. It can be either identity specific, aspect, or basic, and add that event to your hand. So you're searching their discard pile, adding it to your hand. I don't understand the same classification as that character. That's the weird part about it. I'll have to get some clarity on that. If anybody in the chat knows, I appreciate it. You all have been very helpful. Mary says Bulletproof Bell works really, really well. Well, I can imagine it would. A 1-cost defense card that basically makes you indestructible for a turn, or not for a turn, but for an attack, and then gives you tough. Yeah, seems real good for 1 cost. We got Iceman. So she is a protection ally with her 2/2/2 stat line. So Iceman is a new X-Men protection ally. 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 life. Iceman enters play with 3 freeze counters on him. After a minion enters play, remove a freeze counter from Iceman, stun that minion. Again, I always love cards that encourage you to keep your allies in play, and this does. It's almost like Hawkeye's original card with the 3 arrow counters that do 2 damage as a minion comes into play. This is similar, except it freezes when it comes into play. All right, we got Karma, who is a 4-cost, 0 thwart, 0 attack, 1 life psionic X-Men. She better have something pretty good for that 4 cost. Response: after you play Karma from your hand, choose a non-elite minion. While Karma is in play, take control of that minion and treat it as controlled ally with a blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 2 consequential damage after it thwarts or attack. So after you play, you choose that, but then once it takes enough consequential damage to get rid of it, Karma's not gone. You can still chump with Karma afterward, it sounds like. So that's pretty neat. Taking control, that's what Mary was talking about the other day with Karma. I guess I thought I knew what Karma was, but I didn't. So that's pretty neat. You get to take control of a minion. We've seen other cards that let you do that, but usually you're discarding the ally, I feel like. This one, when the minion gets defeated, you still have Karma to use as a chumper afterward. So you have Armor. Armor is a 2-cost, 1/1, 2 ally. Play only if your identity is the X-Men trait. She comes in with toughness. Great chumper. She can chump once, then attack or thwart for 1, and then chump a second time. Love it, love it, love it. Unflappable. We've definitely seen this card, but not with the X-Men artwork. We got Cyclops on there. There's 3 of them that come with it. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. After you defend against an attack, take no damage. Exhaust it to draw a card. Super sweet. I don't know that you need 3 of them because there's only max 1 per player, but I guess you might want to put 3 in your deck just to draw them faster. Oh, Mary says for superpower adaptation, if you have touched on, say, an aggression ally, you can pull an aggression event from that player's discard. Okay. Yeah, it's just worded very weirdly. Like, I don't know why it's so specific. I guess. But what if it's an ally that has, like, multiple aspects, like, whatchamacallit, Adam Warlock or Spider-Woman? How does that work? So, yeah, I don't know why they're so specific. I don't know why it doesn't just say, like, take a card out of their discard pile. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about. Because for those allies, you're not, or not allies, but, you know, other heroes, you're not choosing an aspect at the beginning of the game. So it's weird that it's specific like that. But anyway, I don't know why it doesn't just say take a card from their discard pile. There's something I must be missing here. We got Judoka skill. which you get 3 of as well. It's a 2 cost, uses 3 judo counters, max 1 per player. When you defend against an enemy attack, remove a judo counter from here. That enemy gets -2 for the attack. This is really good. An upgrade that you just keep in play that's -2 from 3 attacks. That is really, really good, especially when there's so many cards that say, it says when you defend. So you probably do have to decide ahead of time. I guess that's the only negative. But for 2 costs, getting 3 of those seems good. So preemptive strike, we've definitely seen this. You do get 3 of them, but this does have new artwork, which is kind of neat. You got Storm there with, I don't know, maybe it's just some random minion. So 1 cost, Hero Interrupt Defense. When a villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on that card. Deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. Love it. Love it. One of my favorite cards. Not today, because when a boost card is turned face up, that's what I love about Preemptive Strike. Going back to that one. All right, not today. 1 cost. Oh, by the way, you do get 3 of these in the pack as well. 1 cost defense, Hero Interrupt Defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for the attack. If you take no damage from the attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So a way to thwart that is faster, because right now there are other protection events that let you thwart or let you remove threat when you don't take damage, but they're not instant play events like this. So this would really actually make protection a decent, I guess you don't have to play Justice anymore. You could play Protection. This just gives you more ability to play Protection, I guess, as a thwarter. Like if you want to be the thwarter for the group, which I love. So Defensive Energy, again, you get 2 of these. Max 2 per deck. When you would spend a card to play a defense event, you get to draw a card. So using these to pay for defense lets you draw a card. So defense or protection sometimes has the issue of running out of cards when they are on their defensive side and not going to when they go to their player turn, they don't have any cards left to play. So this energy card takes care of that a little bit. It lets you draw 1 of the cards at least, replaces defensive energy itself. You still have to pay for the other cards, so you still will be at least 1 card down. All right, so we have another basic ally over here that is, oh no, this is still in her set. These aren't extra cards. So this is still part of her pre-constructed deck. So we got Mariah McTaggart, which is a support. Oh, it's not an ally, I'm sorry. Play only if your identity is a mutant trait. Response: after a mutant alter ego changes to hero form, exhaust Mariah Taggart. That hero's controller draws a card. After any mutant does it, they get to draw a card. So when you go from mutant to hero, seems like it's going to be a pretty standard card to go in a lot of mutant decks. I mean, anybody that wants to flip, I don't know why you wouldn't add her in. 2 cost support that lets you draw cards, lets you go through your deck, lets you thin your deck because you are putting her in play. All of it sounds good. So we got a 1 cost upgrade here called X Gene. Play only if your identity is a mutant trait. Max 1 per player. Resource: exhaust X Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity specific event. That is very specific, but it's still pretty good. 1 cost. You have to be a mutant to have it, or to put it into play. So a lot of times you can't be on your hero side. You got to be alter ego, but that's fine. It's a wild resource to do an identity specific event. Well, a lot of those big attacks, big thwarts, whatever else, are identity specific events. So being able to get up to 3 of these in your deck seems pretty good. All right, Beauty and the Thief. We've already seen this in the Rogue deck, or I'm sorry, in the Gambit deck, but also in the Rogue deck. Beauty and the Thief, 2 cost attack event. Team up, you need to have both Rogue and Gambit, which means both on their hero sides in play, or one of them with their signature ally. Hero action, attack thwart, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and remove 4 threat. Again, I think this is excellent for a 2 cost. So Mary says, Mora is going to be so good for Colossus. Yes. Well, again, I think Gambit also is going to love Moria over here. So, again, you get to draw a card every time you go change form. Mutant. After Mutant, Alter Ego changes to their hero side. Yeah, I mean, yeah, anybody that's going to love to change, which certainly Colossus is one of those. That's for sure. All right, the last 3 cards in her pre-constructed deck are the 3 double resources. We've got Strength, Genius, and Energy. You all know what that looks like. All right, let's look at our obligation, and we are almost done with this unboxing video. But I will be playing both of these heroes with my first impression video coming up on the One Stop Co-op Shop main channel. So make sure you're subscribed there as well. Hopefully those will be done throughout the course of the week. I promise you much better quality because I am going to scan all these cards in and play it on Tabletop Simulator because I can't deal with this bad quality and not being able to see the cards. So I do apologize again for the quality. All right. We got Deadly Touch, which is an obligation. Give to the Anna Marie player. If touched is attached to a friendly character, deal 2 damage to that character and discard this card. If touch is attached to a friendly character, place 2... Wait, what? Friendly character, deal 2 damage to that character and discard the card. Or if touch is not attached to a friendly character, place 2 threat on the main scheme and discard this card. So if it's either not attached to anybody or it's attached to an enemy, you add 2 threat. If it's attached to an ally, you damage that ally. And either way you discard it, so you're not getting rid of this. This thing is sticking around. Oh my, not again. We were just talking about Mystique last night in our live stream. So this is her signature villain. We got 1 attack, 1 scheme. Tough and villainous, 6 life, 4 response. After Mystique engages you, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside play area for a copy of Misled Treachery and shuffle it into your deck. All right, well, let's see what this Misled Treachery is. There are 3 of them. So she is clearly feeling very misled, Mystique over here. So Misled Treachery. When revealed, shuffle this card into your deck. That card gains Surge. Or this card gains Surge. For response, after this card enters your hand, place 2 threat on the main scheme. You may discard this card from your hand at the end of the player phase like any other card. So it is a card that does nothing in your hand, and you're going to have to place 2 threat on the main scheme. Seems not wonderful. Engages you, search the encounter deck and discard pile. I'm trying to read Mystique now. And set aside area for a copy of Misled and shuffle it into your deck. So you're getting one of these in your deck. It doesn't really seem like there's any way to get this out of your deck. You just keep adding 2 threat every time this comes around. You know, makes your deck bigger and basically wastes a card every time it comes around. The only other card in Mystique's, or Rogue's Nemesis set here, Mystique's Manipulations. So this is a side scheme. When defeated, so it's got an acceleration icon on it. When defeated, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Misled Treachery and shuffle it into your deck. It only has 2 threat per player, but I don't even know you get rid of this thing because, you know, adding something that adds 2 threat to you just to get rid of 1 threat a turn, I mean, it's a trade-off. You have to decide which one's worse for you, but, both of these are terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right. So that is the end of Mystique's deck, but she does have a few cards in the back, as always. We got 3 copies of MedLab, which is a leadership card, max 1 per player. Response: after an ally is defeated by consequential damage, exhaust MedLab and place it here. Limit 1 per ally. Allies defeated by consequential damage, exhaust it and place it here. Limit 1 at a time, 1 ally at a time. So you're placing the ally on the MedLab. Alter Ego action. Exhaust MedLab to play an ally here as if it was in your hand. Okay, so if you get defeated by taking consequential damage, you could place the ally on here. Then you go to your Alter Ego side, you exhaust the lab, and you play an ally here if it's in your hand. It does enter play exhausted, but still, lets you save some allies. I can imagine Gambit's going to want to do that with his signature ally Rogue, because Rogue comes in for free most of the time. So that seems real good. All right. So last thing we have is so that's all that comes in here, though, is the 3 leadership cards. And you get this Reaver's, what are they called? Modular encounter set as well. So Matthias says, Beauty and the Thief is an amazing card. Also love lots of the art. These are really great. Yeah, I agree with you. The art's been really good in this set. And that, like I said, that is the best team-up card that I can think of right now. I'm sure there are other ones that are very good. But just removing 4 threat and doing 4 damage for 2 seems real good. I know those cards are hard to play, but for me, those would typically go in my deck, even if you're not playing with both Rogue and Gambit, because their signature allies seem really good too, especially Gambit. Pretty easy to get Rogue out for Gambit. So, yeah, no, I can certainly see that those cards getting lots of play in Gambit and Rogue decks. All right, so we got Donald Pierce here. So this is the modular set that comes with it. It's called the Reavers. This is an Elite Reaver, Teamwork Reaver, Villainous. So I'm going to have to remember what teamwork is again. That was definitely in the clarifications here. So let me go ahead and read what that does again. Teamwork trait. After a minion with teamwork enters play and engages a player, if there are at least one other minion with that shares a specific trait in play, so it doesn't even have to be in front of that player, each minion that shares the teamwork keyword with the same specified trait activates against the player it is engaged with. So when this character comes in, every Reaver anywhere in front of any player is going to activate. So this Reaver is Villainous, which is real bad, because if another Reaver comes in and triggers Donald Prince over here, they're going to attack or scheme with Villainous kind of out of nowhere. So you definitely don't want multiple cards in front of you, although certainly something you can't help a lot of times. Force response. After Donald Pierce engages you, reveal the topmost Reaver minion from the discard pile. Oh, so yep, that's going to happen. So hopefully there are no Reaver minions in your discard pile. But if there are, you have to reveal it. And yep, you're going to get attacked. So you got Skullbuster over here, which is a 2/2/5 Reaver, Teamwork Reaver, Toughness. Reaver response. After Skullbuster engages you, place a threat on the main scheme for each Reaver minion engaged with you. So more reasons not to want Reavers in front of you. You got Bonebreaker, which is another Reaver. Toughness. Force response. After Bonebreaker engages you, take an indirect damage for each Reaver minion engaged with you. And don't forget, because they're teamwork, they're also going to activate. You got Wade Cole. By the way, this seems like a very tough modular. Teamwork Reaver. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the Cybernetic Enhancements attachment and attach it to Wade Cole. All right, there are 2 of those that come in this modular, the Cybernetic Enhancements. Let's take a look at one of them. They're the same, obviously. +1 attack. Attached to a minion. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. Attached minion cannot take damage. Force response. After attached minion attacks, discard it. So they get 1 attack with +1. And Wade Cole was 2 attack already, so now going to be 3 attack. You cannot do any damage to this character as long as this attachment is attached. Yeah, that's brutal. So it keeps a minion around for an extra round, as well as giving them +1 attack for that round that they are in. And it doesn't go away until they attack. So if they scheme, you can't get rid of those enhancements, which, no bueno. Got to be honest. All right. Teamwork Reaver. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the Cybernetic Enhancements attachments and attach it to Murray Reese. So another one that gets it. Very similar stat line as well, maybe even the same. So Wade Cole, Murray Reese, they are basically the same card. They're going to do teamwork, so they're going to activate another Reaver, and you're going to search for the cybernetic enhancements and put it on them. Same stat line and everything. It's kind of cool, though, that they have different names. I'm sure if you know the Reavers, these are probably the two, like, red shirt characters. If you know the Star Trek red shirts, they're, like, sitting there. They're probably the ones, you know, they're a little bit of bruisers. They might do some damage, but, you know, they're not meant to stick around. All right, last thing, the Reaver's side scheme, as if it wasn't bad enough. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme discards cards from the encounter deck until a Reaver minion is discarded, then reveals that minion. Oy. Well, you definitely don't want to defeat this if there are a ton of Reavers in play. It only has 5 threat, but it is an extra card draw every round. Man, this Reaver set is brutal. Absolutely brutal. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, certainly it means we're going to play it on our streaming channel because that's what we do Friday nights. We put a lot of brutal stuff in front of us, but let's talk about Rogue. I'm having a harder time getting a feel for Rogue just from looking through the cards. This is a set I'm going to have to play through, touched. Like, it definitely does different things depending on which person you do it with. I like the fact that it combos with the other cards in her deck. Like, if you have certain abilities, which you get from the touch card, then you know, deal additional damage or stun or whatever else. So it gives you an extra layer of things to think about. It's going to be a very thinky character. Anybody who's watched me knows I don't always thinky so well. So Rogue might be a step above the complexity that I will like, but I am sure there are going to be people that love her, and she seems super powerful and super good. Gambit, of the two that we saw today, seems much more up my whatever you want to call it, like in my wheelhouse, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just love the fact that from Alter Ego he gets to do all this cool stuff, which makes sense because he's a thief in his Alter Ego life, a lot like Black Widow. You know, now that I'm seeing it on Gambit, I'm wishing that Black Widow got to do more stuff on her Alter Ego side. Although what I will say is it sounds like you know, with those cards that came in the Gambit set, you're going to be able to do some of that as well. You're going to get some of that ability to do stuff on your Alter Ego side, even with characters like Black Widow. So I like the fact that they're going back, adding cards that are good. Marvel Champions has been great about this. That's why it's one of the best games out there. It keeps evolving and evolving their old heroes as well. If they're going to increase the power level a little bit, they're doing it across the board, not just with the new heroes. So I don't know. I'm super excited. So Mary says Rogue is the one I want to spend more time with. I like what little I've seen playing the game with her. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own level of what they're going to feel comfortable with, right? Storm, I really liked. She was one that the complexity level didn't seem too high for me. Rogue, from the outset, just from the outside looking in, without ever having played, seems like she's going to be even a step up in complexity from Storm. But once I get playing her, who knows? She might be super straightforward and super powerful as well. Gambit, I'm just super excited that they're doing more stuff on Alter Ego side. I really like the stuff that they've done to increase Mansion X power. I mean, it's good enough as it is, right? It heals somebody, even allies, so it's super strong already. But the fact that they're also now comboing cards with it, when if you have it in front of you, you get to draw extra cards when you play these cards if you have the mansion. So I don't know, seems really cool. I'm super happy with both of these decks. It continues with the theme of this X-Men series that have come out with Mutant Genesis. They're all very unique, very interesting, and they all seem pretty powerful. Again, I don't know that they're more powerful than older heroes, but just at a first glance, they seem very good. You could tell with some heroes when you look at their signature sets that they're going to be, you know, they're going to need things to boost them up. They're not going to play as much with their signature set. All these heroes seem to play very well within their signature set and also come with some really cool cards that can help boost up. Here we got both Protection and Justice today. Certainly got a few leadership cards, or one, I guess, new one. with 3 copies of it and, you know, a new aggression card. But I'm more excited for all the new leadership cards, all the new, or not leadership, all the new justice, all the new protection cards. I think those are really neat. Those are 2 traditionally thought of as underpowered aspects, I feel like. So anytime you get new stuff for them, it's cool. There's finally a 4-cost ally. I forget her name, but the one that controls other characters, which I actually think is a really neat use of that mechanic. Again, we'd kind of seen it before. That was Karma. We'd kind of seen it before, but I didn't think it was done that well there. As far as like, you know, you're basically sacrificing to get a minion, so you're hoping to have that minion. With Karma, you still get that minion, but then after the minion's defeated, you still have her to use as a chumper. I like that dual ability. It's almost like getting a free stun or whatever else. So so that's kind of fun as well. So all in all, yeah, no, I'm really excited by these 2 new heroes. I'm super excited to play them. Stay tuned to the channel, to the main One Stop Co-op Shop channel. I will be filming some videos today and tomorrow, and they'll be up, you know, sometime, maybe even tonight or tomorrow, they'll be up on that main channel. So they will be played in Tabletop Simulator because, as you've seen, my live recording setup isn't great. I don't love the quality of the video here, so I apologize for that. But I did want to go through everything because I do think it's a useful exercise. I used to do it like as a first play video and I'd experience everything for the first time. But I think it's a lot to all put in one video. So hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing. Please give me any feedback. We'd love to hear it in the comments. And great seeing you. And I will see you soon as I play through these heroes. And join us every Friday night as we play Marvel Champions. Thanks. Bye.